I just kept on coming up with this card. I said, angels, spirits, guides, please help me to know what I'm supposed to do today. And I kept on coming up with inspire passion.
Your soul is constantly trying to get your attention. It's trying to steer you in the right way, but oftentimes we don't listen. Synchronistic events, things keep happening. We keep explaining it away, saying how weird. If you keep getting intuitive a thought over and over, it's probably your intuition saying, listen to me, listen to me. You're a spiritual being and a physical being. Remember this, you are a soul that comes with a body, not a body that comes with a soul. You're a soul first. You're a soul long before you incarnate in this body, and you're going to be a soul long after that. So honor your soul. Listen to your soul. It's trying to work in partnership with you.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wondered how to tap into your soul, get inner guidance or wisdom, or connect with your higher self, then do we have the show for you. Today I'll be talking with John Holland, best-selling author, radio show host, and one of the top psychic mediums and spiritual teachers in the country. He's also the creator of some of the most interesting and accurate sets of tarot cards we've ever worked with. Today we'll be talking about psychic tarot, plus tapping into your own inner guidance for greater peace, happiness, and love in your life, plus growing your own intuitive gifts. That plus we'll talk about unsolved mysteries, falling out of trees, and what in the world is spiritual boot camp. So welcome to the show, John. Are you ready to shine?
You know it. Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great and a mighty woohoo!
Good, good.
So I've got to ask before we dive right into things.
Sure.
Were you born with a medium manual in your hands?
No, not at all. I think we're all born intuitive, Michael, and I say that God wouldn't put us here without a little help. Mm-hmm. And I think our intuitive abilities are help keep us connected, to the divine, and we're born this way. So no, I had to learn, and back in the 60s, there's a lot of psychic and medium stuff now. There's books, there's TV shows, there's movies. But back in the 60s, what did I have? Bewitched, I Dream a Genie, Dark Shadows, the series. So anything that had to do with ghostly or even very religious movies, I fell in love with. But no, I was born this way. It's on my mom's side of the family. So no, there was no manual. I had to learn as I went and as I grew older. But it's been quite a process. So no, to answer your question, no manual. I was just always the different one in the family, the very sensitive one.
Can you tell us what your first event was, or what you first started to see or sense?
When I was a kid, you hear this from a lot of mediums and psychics too. They, I remember as a kid, I love art. I love drawing. I was very creative. I was always drawn to metaphysics, religion. I used to see spirit people in my bedroom as a kid, and I thought I was dreaming. I knew things I couldn't possibly have known, who was going to come over the house suddenly, who was going to be sick. So it was always there. And some people say to me, Michael, weren't you afraid? I can't be afraid of something that I was born with. It's like someone being afraid of their artistic ability or their music ability. So I've always been that way.
Do you remember Janitor's Cave, an experience that you had?
Oh, yes. You did your research, didn't you, my friend? Yes, you did. You read Born Knowing. When I was living in Boston, there was a school, and we were out there with my friends causing trouble probably, or doing, things we shouldn't have. And we were behind the school, and I was drawn to a certain area of the school, and all my friends went up there, and it was almost like I felt somebody calling me, or an urge to go. And where the school was, there was a ramp where the janitors go down to bring their trucks, and all my friends went up to play. And there, lying there, when I was just drawn there was a gentleman. He had to be, young 20s, and I had to be like 8 or 9 or 10 or something. And there he was. He fell off the landing above there, and and basically he was dying. So we ran to get the police, and they came and took him away in the ambulance. And that very same night, I was at a party with my family, and somehow the police found me. Mm-hmm. So they came knocking at the door at the party, and it's John here. And I said, and my parents are like, somebody's here to see you. What it was, very sad. It was the uncle of the boy who passed away. And he just said he wanted to meet the kid who found his nephew, because they found him in time enough to say goodbye to him. So he did pass away, but they did bring him to the hospital. But if it wasn't for me, he would have passed in that spot, but he was surrounded by his family. All because I had to be at the right place at the right time and listening to that calling to go down, and something drew me there. So quite fascinating.
And I'm really fascinated about that because there were warning signs not to go in there. So you actually this had to be a really strong calling. This isn't just a little curiosity.
Right, because it was down a ramp where the janitors bring their trucks, and you're not supposed to be down there. But it was a calling, and I just felt pulled there. And sure enough, there was that young man lying there because he fell off.
Can you tell us briefly about Aunt Rose or Grandma Rose and Aunt Shirley?
Oh, Grandma. Well, that's on the Italian side of my family. That's my Grandma Rose. Loved her. She was always, growing up, my mother used to say to me, Grandma knows stuff. She knows stuff. And the word psychic wasn't really used. Mm-hmm. And my Aunt Shirley, she was always into dreams. So some people say, well, did you have any help as a kid? My Aunt Shirley, I never said I was psychic. My parents just knew I was different. I didn't play sports with my brothers or go outside a lot. I would read books and do art and read metaphysical books. But being in my grandmother's house, and my aunt, those two lived together, my Aunt Shirley and my Grandma Rose, there was always a sense there. You know, old Italian, the furniture was old. Aunt Shirley would let me read her dream books. And you know what's really strange, Michael, too, though? Believe it or not, my Aunt Shirley had her dreams down. She dreamt lottery numbers and won.
Wow.
Never won the big one, but she would win, I swear to God, hundreds and thousands of dollars. She would dream, look up the dream, put some numerology to it, and she would win. Unfortunately, I don't have that. But she's the one who kind of turned me on, or it was nice to go there because I had an aunt who was into at least dreams. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it also probably made you feel more normal, for lack of another word.
Right, it did. And, you know, I just wish that if someone had the word psychic, my parents didn't have the terminology then, about psychic, but just like Grandma knew stuff. But I felt safe there when I was in their house. It was beautiful, and I miss them. They both passed away.
And I grew up in just north of Dorchester myself, about 20 miles in Danvers, Mass.
Right.
And I can only imagine, and I grew up, I guess, probably about 10 years after you, that you either had to be quiet about it or not do some of this stuff around other kids because they wouldn't have been so kind.
Absolutely, because kids don't understand. I mean, even now, look at all the how kids treat each other now. I mean, with social media. I mean, there's a lot of bullying going on. But I just kept it quiet because I didn't want to be considered the weird one, the strange one. And when your own family starts calling you weird, Michael, what are you supposed to do? So I just kept it quiet. And as I got older, I was still fascinated by psychic ability and the spirit world. And my friends used to say to me, do that thing that you do. So only my certain friends knew that I was intuitive and I could just tell them things about their life. But it's not something that I ran out and told everybody about.
Can you tell us what happened? You had, there was a fire in your neighborhood.
Right. The fire in the neighborhood was, it was in the back of, we lived in a triplex. Mm-hmm. And in the back of our house was a huge apartment complex. I don't know how many apartments were in there, but there was a fire in there. And I think what you're talking about, the story of how we got out of the house.
How you got out of the house and how the house didn't, everything else, it sounds like, burned around you.
Absolutely. So the neighbor came upstairs, get out of the house. And we all went outside. So where I lived in a 3-decker. We were in the middle floor and the people above us and below us. And behind us was apartments. There had to be, I don't know, it was huge, 70 apartments maybe, 80, 90, something like that. There was a fire in the back. And the whole thing, as we went outside, because the neighbors told us to get out of the house, and we watched, there was my house, an alleyway, and then a pizza shop, and then a house here. So our house is here, all the back of the apartments, the whole thing burnt totally down. And the fire even flew over a vacant lot. There was a vacant lot where 2 houses used to be, not the best neighborhood growing up. So the neighborhood was going bad. So houses were derelict and taken down. Then there was a pizza shop. So the flame went from that apartment building all the way over to the restaurant, 2 lots over, started burning their roof. And the house beside us was far enough away, but ours stood there. And it was so weird. It was just like, so you're seeing our house like a shell and everything else burnt around it. So did we have an angel there? Did something protect us? I'm not sure. And I just feel bad for all the people that lost their home. No lives were lost, but it was quite a tragic fire.
Wow. So going from there, a couple, I think I would call them miraculous circumstances occurred in your life, which is one, you're climbing in a tree.
Yes. Yeah. I was in kids are kids, boys are boys. And at the end of the street, there was a warehouse. And beside there, I don't know what made me climb up this tree. It was 2 stories high. So imagine a huge, it was a car dealership, and the tree was right beside it, and I decided to climb it. You know how kids are; they get a thought and they just do it. Okay, there's no filter in there. So I climbed the tree, and I'm looking out, and on the way down from the tree, remember 2 stories high, I had a branch, and then I fell backwards, and it's the strangest thing. So it's hard to explain this to people, but I think a lot of strange things happen to people, and they just explain it away.
Absolutely.
So I'm falling to the ground, and I don't know what it was like. Now that I'm older, I can think about this, and I still remember it. It's almost as if I floated down. Now, did I feel myself go in slow motion? I don't know. It was a blank. I just felt it took me a while to get to the ground. I landed on my butt, on my back, and in my hand was still the branch. So I'm looking up at the tree. Now, I know kids can bounce, okay, but, not 2 stories, okay, but there was not a scratch on me. It's almost like I floated down. I had the branch in my hand, and I just got up and giggled and laughed and just ran away. So it's an amazing story. And in that same neighborhood, you might ask the same thing. In that same neighborhood, there was a hallway, and I used to go to my neighbor's Dolores, my mom's best friend. There's an open doorway, and there's her hallway, and there's the staircase because they're all triplexes, triple-decker homes. Apartment buildings. So there's a doorway, and I ran I can see the doorway, and I came running up the stairs. There's the open door. I can see the staircase, but at the entrance of the door, I ran into it and fell back. It's almost like I hit an invisible wall. So that freaked me out too. So it's really strange. And then I got up off my butt again, and I put my hand through the door to make sure I wasn't hitting something.
Yeah.
So what was that? Was I running too fast? Was I going to hurt myself? Was there a spirit coming out of the door? Really things that I'll never forget. The tree incident, the, walking into that, running into that apartment building, hitting an invisible wall. And I bet you I'm not the only person with these kind of stories. Right.
We filter away the unexplained. We take that detail out. That's the mind-blowing detail, and leave the rest. This next one, and then I want to go more into your gifts, but this next one here gave me chills when I read this before the interview. And to me, if I get chills or tears, it means there's something to
right
this.
About it. Yes.
You're in California. You've met your teacher. You're working there, and one day, I guess, and I may not have the timeline quite right, but you're driving home in the rain, and yes. California rains can be really slick.
Right.
So if it hasn't rained in a while.
Well, yeah, because in California, when it rains, people are like, it's almost like acid, oh my God, it's raining, So they're not ready for when the rain, but I was on the 10 freeway, and I hit a guardrail, and the car spun around. But before that, Michael, too, and I always teach too, your soul is constantly trying to get your attention. It's trying to steer you in the right way, but oftentimes we don't listen. Dreams are a way that your soul tries to talk to you, or your intuition. Synchronistic events, things keep happening. We keep explaining it away, saying how weird. There's synchronistic events, there's dreams, there's intuition. Your gut says to do this, but you don't. And then, you kick yourself in the butt. And then I call wake-up calls. So that accident for me was my wake-up call. I was living in LA, young man, living a high life there, a lot of friends, a lot of partying. And it wasn't, I was in a very bad relationship. Not a bad relationship, it was over. Okay, it was over. I had all these signs and symbols that, John, you need to take care of yourself. You need to move on. Mm-hmm. Got into the accident, that automobile accident. The car hit the rail in the rain, spun around and crashed. And the car basically crunched, Michael. So I got out of that car without a scratch. I didn't have a near-death experience. I could have died. I didn't die. I didn't go into the light. My grandfather wasn't there saying, go back. But when I looked at that car and it was crunched, I just said, thank you. It was my wake-up call to get my act together. And when I started doing that, all my psychic ability that I had as a kid, this was like 30, 31, all the psychic ability that I had as a kid that was always there, that I pushed aside, came back, and it was so strong. I felt like these waves. I think a lot of people might know this and some don't. I think it was a Kundalini awakening. I think I had all my energy centers pop open really fast. So what was psychic before is now turned up 100 degrees. I mean, it was a 180-degree turn. So if you walk away, if you saw that car, and instead of saying, wow, I guess I was lucky, I guess I was, I think it was my wake-up call. And because of that accident, I didn't moan or complain. I mean, you lived in California. You know what it's like. You lived in California, Michael, right?
Briefly, yes.
Yes. You need a car there. I had to ride a bike. So I didn't complain. It changed my life. If it wasn't for that automobile accident, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now. I wouldn't have been a medium with 4 books and the decks and touring the world with other great speakers because of that accident. So I thank God that it happened to me.
Beautiful. And I like that you put it that way because as we were speaking before the show, I've had a couple experiences myself, and I view them as gifts and as wake-up calls. And it seems to me as well as, and I'm glad you heeded the first one, that if we don't get the first wake-up call, the flame is turned up.
I think you only get a few in this lifetime. But I want people to realize if your intuition is saying something, or a synchronistic event, say you're a nurse and all of a sudden you're meeting all these nurses that are walking up to you out of the blue, or you're having dreams or your intuition or synchronistic events happening, follow them, because we explain it away. And many times, you know how it is, you'll be thinking of somebody. Out of the blue, you're walking down the street, you haven't seen them in 2 years. Oh my God, I was just thinking of you. Oh my God, how weird, how strange, how crazy. But people don't go beyond that. They're just, there's a reason why you ran into that person. What's the message there? What's the conversation? There's a reason why this happened to you.
Just like there's a reason we're speaking today.
Absolutely.
So, and before we dive into that, one last question about your history here. I was completely fascinated and blown away by this. The Arthur Findlay College, or what you call spiritual boot camp.
Absolutely. Yes. Many incidents just really quickly. So I have the accident. Okay. I started getting more and more psychic, more and more intuitive. All this energy's going through me. I was working at the Marriott Hotel. I was bartending. People would walk up to the bar. They started knowing me, what I do. And, Marriott, and this was filmed on Unsolved Mysteries, by the way, too. They featured this, too. Anyone can YouTube it. They featured me. They hired an actor to play me. It was pretty cool. But all my friends wanted me to do readings. And I wasn't ready for that, Michael. Okay. A lot of friends says, John, you got to do readings now. Why didn't I want to do them? And I asked the audience, why wouldn't I want to do readings? The responsibility, Michael, was overwhelming. People's lives are in your hands. There's a lot of skeptics out there. It's a huge responsibility. Like I said, their lives are in your hand. And I didn't want to go back to the drama and to the critique or the feeling like a kid again, being called weird or something's wrong with you. Eventually, slowly, I started doing readings at an aromatherapy shop on Santa Monica and Sepulveda Boulevard. So I would take a tarot deck, started doing cards there, and I started getting quite a name. And then 2 years into doing psychic work, something different happened. I started doing and this is also in Born Knowing. I talk about it, Mari and her aunt. 2 years into doing readings, people on the other side started showing up, which was really weird because I said, all right, wait a minute. Here I am trying to be a psychic, going with all that goes with that, the skeptics. Now what? Dead people are talking to me? Because remember, I'm from the streets.
Let me pause you for a brief second. So I've got to get definitions on both psychic and medium, and were you hearing things first, and then now it's what is it? Auto clairvoyance, audio. What is going on? How do we put that in perspective? What did that look or feel like?
You're a really good interviewer. Psychic and mediumship, there's a difference, okay? A psychic is someone who can look at you, Michael, or your wife, or your friends, or anybody. They're getting information from your aura, your past, your present, your potential future. They're getting it from you. Mediums are different. They're getting it directly, not from you. I'm getting communication directly from the other side. So look at it this way. Psychics perceive, mediums receive. Psychics perceive, mediums receive. When I'm doing mediumship work, I know I'm connecting to the other side, okay? Or a trained medium, they know this, not from you. So there is a difference. So it's this way. Every medium is psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. So we need people that are psychic. So I can do both. What happened was I was reading cards, for this girl named Mari, and she was a student in art. Now, a lot of people, when they come to see me psychically, or when they used to, because I don't do so many privates anymore, it's not just about the future. It's about their life, their career. And she was an art student. And we were talking about her project, the colors that I saw her using, where it was going to go. And as I'm talking to her, in comes her aunt. And I'm like, well,
Aunt Ada?
Yeah, Aunt Ada. And you're thinking, well, what do you mean comes in? There's ways that we perceive. Some people see things, feel things, or hear things, okay? At that time, I was all three. I'm sitting with Mari, and right beside her, an old woman appeared. Now, don't think like it's like the movies, okay? So I'm sitting with Mari, and don't think about it like it's, like I said, like it's you see on television. It's almost like, Michael, if I ask you, can you picture your kitchen in your mind's eye as you're speaking with me right now? Can you see it? Yeah. That's what it was like. I was aware there was an older woman beside her, okay? And I said, Mari, there's a woman right beside you. And I'm looking at Mari, I'm looking at the woman, and it's an older woman, and all she did was point to her ring. And none of her clothes matched. And I don't know why I noticed that, but nothing matched. I said, Mari, there's an elderly woman right beside you. Her clothes don't match, and she's showing me a diamond. Well, she got up and screamed, which made me get up and scream. I hugged her. She hugged me. And I said, Mari, what is that? Her great aunt Ada, who passed away, was colorblind. Mm-hmm. So there's the clothes. That didn't make sense. And the ring that she's wearing right now, Mari, was in the Aunt Ada left it for Mari, her diamond. So that's the first time spirit came in to the readings. So why did that happen? I used to see the spirit people when I was a kid, but so what changed? This is what happened. 2 years, I guess the ability was there. 2 years into doing readings over and over, always kept my day job. Always kept my day job. I would do the readings at night or on the weekends. After doing reading one after another, my aura must have expanded, or my awareness expanded far enough where they could come to me. So when you're doing mediumship, Michael, you raise your energy, the people on the other side lower theirs, and then there's a blending process. It's called a link and blend.
Let me pause you for a brief second, because I'm getting goosebumps. So I feel called to ask this. Yep. Is something, if we take baby steps, yes, is this something we can all work to? Because it sounds like, in a sense, you're raising your energy.
Right, you're raising your vibe.
Can we all raise our vibes there?
Absolutely. Everyone can raise their vibe. And some people, I don't know if everyone could be a medium, but I know everyone can touch on mediumship. Everyone is psychic. That's not a problem. And someone says, are mediums born or made? I think it's both. Okay. I used to say they're just born, but I was getting too much slack about that because I teach many students. If the ability is there, it's almost like Michael playing the piano. You can learn to play, but does that mean you're going to be a professional pianist? It takes a certain constitution and chemical makeup to keep doing it. And that's how it happened. So when the spirit people started showing up on the other side, this is going to the boot camp. I am getting there.
I guess I should ask beforehand then, you were introduced to your guides and you did something called a development circle, which just sounds like the coolest thing in the world. I'd never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, in England I did that. When people on the other side started showing up, Michael, I didn't want to just do it. I wanted to know, why is it happening? How is it happening? How do I shut this off? Why does Uncle Joe, somebody's uncle, keep coming up, or someone's mother popping in on a psychic reading? So I studied every book that I got that I could possibly get. And luckily I lived in California where they had the Bodhi Tree bookstore, which is pretty cool. I go to this bookstore or the library and I looked up mediumship, and there it was, spiritualist. And spiritualism started in America with the Fox sisters, and all it means is the continuity of life. All these books that I had were from England. They talk about England and spiritualism in England. And I said, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could go to England and study mediumship with these kind of people? Well, synchronistic events once again. Ta-da. 2 weeks later, I'm at a party and I stepped on a guy's foot. Where was he from? Well, when he said, hello, and I'm like, are you Irish? And he's like, no, I'm from England. I said, oh my God. So I started having a talk with him, and he knew about the churches. He was an IT guy. He's an artist too, in a marketing. So he wasn't into spirituality, but he said, look, if you ever want to get over there, he said, this is where I live. Give me a call. Well, my job closed. The flagship hotel closed down. Well, I had the time, and I said, well, how am I going to afford to my apartment and go study in England? Once again, synchronistic events. My friend called me from Massachusetts, and she said, John, I want to go to California to be a writer. I understand you want to go to England. My friend Debbie told me, said, you want to go to England? How about if you go there, can I rent your apartment while you're gone?
Perfect.
Fine. So one thing led to another, and I go over to England. I right away I was taken under some. I went right to the churches for training, open circle. I went right there, and people started noticing me, and they took me under their wing, and I got to sit in a closed circle with mediums every day. I mean, every Tuesday for 2 years. And one thing led to another. I heard about the Arthur Findlay College, also known as Stansted. And I'm like, what is this college? Sure enough. And now, Michael, a lot of people think that I went to the college for 2 years. So the college is not like a university or Northeastern University. It's an old mansion that was given to the school by Arthur Findlay. Okay. And he left it for the study of mediumship and psychic sciences. So you go there. I went there a couple of times. Between sitting in circle for 2 years in the intense training that they give you there, and the British, they kick your butt when it comes to mediumship. They don't take the general stuff. It's all about evidence. And you get up and they work you from 9 till about 8 o'clock at night.
So can you give us both an example of what that is, and what does it mean to sit in a circle? Because I'm not sure people have any idea what a circle is.
Sitting in a circle, it's like a meditation circle. When I sat in England in circle, it was about 8 of us, and there was a medium who was the head medium, and we would go into a meditation for a half an hour, just like I do with some students right now. We would go into a meditation and get quiet, learn to clear the mind. Yep. You have to clear your mind so spirit people can put impressions on the mirror of your mind, okay? And then they sit there, and then you come out of meditation, and then you give off what you received, whether it was a message or inspirational speaking. So that's what it is. It's 2 years. It's just sitting in your own power. It was quite cool because you could feel the breezes in the room. You felt the touches. You felt, it was really, really cool. And I always felt like a warm blanket on me when my guide, who's a Tibetan monk, I always felt this warm blanket around me when I knew he was close. So the Spirit Circle gave me training to understand what is a symbol, what is a link, how to blend with the people on the other side. So really good training. And Arthur Findlay College, they teach you the aura, clairsentient to feel, clairaudience to hear, clairvoyance to see. They did how to stand up in front of people to do this, different meditations. It's really, really intense, but the best training I've ever had. Amazing.
Beautiful. So let's go from there. Let's fast forward and jump into a little bit of, you were telling me beforehand that you had done a reading or something. And I'm wondering if you can tap into your gifts a little bit here for us.
Sure.
Whatever that looks like.
Sure. Well, before I know we're going to talk about the cards, and one of my favorite decks, and Psychic Tarot came. Remember I told you I was reading cards at Santa Monica Boulevard in Sepulveda?
Absolutely.
So I'm flipping the Rider Waite cards. Okay, they're the original cards. And I'm flipping these cards, and I never really studied tarot. I'm using the pictures. Now, tarot, they're great images, and they just play off your intuition. So I'm reading these cards, and everybody, when people do tarot, they read the book, and then they look at the card, and they read the book, and I very rarely looked at the book. Okay, I didn't want to. But as I pulled the cards were speaking to me in a way that wasn't in the book. And I explained this in one of my books, Psychic Navigator, I think. I'm looking at the cards, and it wasn't just what the book said. I was noticing different colors that had to do with the people, different scenes, and I'm looking at some right now. There was a priestess there in one of the cards, and she had a red scarf around her neck. So the woman who's sitting in front of me, all I said to her was, "So how long have you had the throat issue?" She goes, "Oh my God, how did you know that?" I said, "It's right here in the cards." Now, there's not a card that says throat card or sore throat, but because of that red scarf in the priestess's, in the area of her neck, I just knew my intuition was talking to me. So when I came to do the tarot deck in Hay House, which is my publisher, like the biggest spiritual publisher in the world, they said to me, I pitched to them, I'd like to do a psychic tarot. I wanted people to look at the cards the way I did. And that's what it does. So the psychic tarot trains people clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, how to look at these cards. And they're not like the traditional cards. I use the major arcana or minor arcana, but I did it my way. And I put borders around them as opposed to pentacles, rods, in the swords or whatever. So I use color, I use the symbols, and I use numerology in them. And that's what happened. And I never would have thought how big of a hit that this was. And you know how we have Walmarts here in the States?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Down in Australia, this deck is in the store that's like a Walmart down there throughout Australia, I found out. So between that and the Psychic Tarot app, I'm blown away. I am absolutely blown away that a tarot deck is much bigger than anything I've ever done.
So before we go into what you'll do here, then, how is it something that's channeled? How did this, because the decks that you have, and I was playing with, I don't know if playing is the right word. I was using your spirit messages deck before the show, and I just kept on coming up with this card. I said, angels, spirits, guides, please help me to know what I'm supposed to do during the show today. And I kept on coming up with inspire passion.
Right.
And not only Inspire Nation show, Inspire Passion, and it's our colors. And on top of that, when I picture myself running, and I used to have this, I picture long flowing dark hair of a Native American running through the plains. And I had hair like this until Jessica cut it. But there's this card with this, it looks like a Native American gentleman with the long flowing brown hair. I'm just blown away by I don't know if it's the maker or it's the guides. It's got to be a dance between both. How did you make these?
The Spirit Messages deck, you mean? Or both?
Both decks.
Well, I had one on Psychic Tarot and Psychic Tarot for the Heart, because everyone, no matter who, there's always people that have relationship questions. So Psychic Tarot for the Heart is dedicated. That was my second deck. I found an artist named John Matson. Mm-hmm. Synchronistic events led me to him, and he was amazing. But you're talking to an artist that never did a tarot deck, but he did a lot of game boards. So I would get the image, he would give it to me, and then it was back and forth. So the two of us did the art together. He's the major artist on that. And the second deck was Matt Manley. I wanted to go with something different. Spirit Messages came out. I wanted people to connect to their guides. They may not be able to get to a psychic or a medium or a loved one. I always say, just pick a card from Spirit Messages, and Spirit's trying to talk to you. So you got Inspire Passion. That's a card of, are you doing everything that you're passionate about, Michael? Is it, have you put something, because you know when you're inspired, you feel energy, you feel joy, you feel just filled with light. So that's a card to remind the spirit world saying, be inspired, get back inspired, and remember a time when you were inspired, and close your eyes and feel that energy there. But I think you probably, your inspiration too. I think your radio show or Inspire Nation is your passion. But don't forget about your other passions too, though, Michael. Also, don't forget about your wife. Also.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's go from there. And what would you like to share with us today from reading, mediumship, psychic, something you've done beforehand that you prepared?
Well, I usually don't pull cards really. I mean, I do it on my radio show too, though. But I mean, every time I do an interview like this or on the radio or audio or something or a podcast, it's rare, but I was inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Inspired to pick up the deck. And I said, okay, so as I look here, before you tell me anything, I pulled a few cards.
Okay.
And the first one that came up, and just really quickly, and this is in my Psychic Tarot, is choose wisely. This is your past. Mm-hmm. So there had to be a decision of, okay, should we go this way or that way? So there was a decision that needed to be made, and I'm trying to be specific. Quite an important decision. It's the 7, and it's the 7 of Hearts. So there had to be, okay, what do we want to do right now? Is there something, which direction do we want to go in? And then it comes spiritual strength. And this is the Buddha, or this guy holding this, really powerful card here. Mm-hmm. And then foundation and achievements. Okay, you see the house? It's in there. So I interpret it this way. Okay, that's just the first art. There had to be a decision because it's past, present, future. Mm-hmm. Past. Okay, you had to make a big decision. It shows water and shows hands going in different directions. You've already done that. You've used the spiritual strength. So there was a major decision probably about, 3, 4, 5 years ago, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. You had to make a major decision. You had the spiritual strength to do this, and you had to set up a new foundation. Wasn't easy. Was not easy, this decision, because I got conflict and defeat and also disruption. Mm-hmm. And disruption is the Tower card, meaning something must have happened around you and your wife where your tower fell, your foundation fell. So there had to be something where your world was rocked. Your world was rocked, and you had to rebuild from scratch. A lot of people get nervous around the tower card because it shows a lightning bolt and the tower going down. All it means is you have to get rid of everything so you can start fresh again. And then there's financial and financial material changes. So this whole thing that happened to you there was financial and material issues with it. But if you're still going through this, I think you're past it. There's some financial stuff here. I think you two are moving again. Okay, I think you're moving. And here's the universe card. It's the cover of the deck.
Yeah.
Everything is in front of you right now, Mike. You've done all the work. You've had the spiritual strength. You've got the foundation. I see a couple of books with you also. Okay, I see a couple of books with you. Not only this show, there's another broadcast that you could be probably doing by the end of the year. So I don't know if you're going to have a sister show or you're going to be on a metaphysical, serious radio show. I don't know. It's something is here, but you've done the work. But look at this, conflict and defeat. It's a guy going downstairs.
So can I pause you? Will you
Sure.
lose your train of thought if I pause you?
Nope.
So let me ground myself here because I'm going way too fast.
Okay.
If we go back 2.5 years, I lost my footing on a trail, slipped, went up. I don't even know how it happened. Flew down. We took a photo for where I slipped and where I landed. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
In a shallow creek. Into water,
right?
Almost died.
Right.
After that, sorry.
It's
after
okay.
that experience, struggled for 1.5 years.
Right.
Couldn't get our footing. Jessica's very sick. Wiped out financially at the same time. Happens when somebody gets sick.
Right.
Had to give up everything, lose our foundation, lost our footing, move back to New Jersey so she could be with family to heal.
Right.
What do we do? Massive decision, both what do we do getting here and then what do we do where Head had this whole list of things to do. And I credit Heart going for walks, even as crazy as it sounds, listening to the crickets.
Sure.
And saying, we've got to start this show.
Right.
And it can't be about anything we've done in the past. This
Sure.
is much better. And it became a total heart thing.
Passion.
To inspire passion,
Passion.
Inspire nation. So I got a little bit of an ooga booga here so far.
Yep, because material change, it shows that you two, it wasn't easy, especially the conflict and defeat. But if anyone who gets this, you can see this card.
People can see that really good
Right.
from there.
You see a guy going down there. He looks, like he's got a lot of weight on his back. But on the walls is a drawing. You could see people going up the stairs, sketched on the wall. So don't forget, he's looking at defeat like, oh my God, but don't remember, you are going to go back up these stairs again. So it just shows that you had a rough time with the financial changes. Your tower came down, just like you said. And I don't think it sounds too general either with this because of everything that you just went through. So, I mean, when it comes to the cards, and anybody can do this by looking at the cards. And, we're all born this way. Have fun with your psychic ability.
And let me pause you and thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. That was huge. Okay, jump in.
That's fine. I think we're all intuitive. Stay away from how television shows us, okay? We're all intuitive. We're all psychic. We're born this way. And I always say to my audiences, who here is psychic in the room? You'll see some hand goes up. And I'll say to people, no, every hand in this room should go up. And they do that. But have fun with it. It's like a muscle. Mm-hmm. We're so caught in the physical now, Michael, because of technology. We're always reaching outside for answers, okay? Whether it's on email, Facebook, we're constantly reaching out. Technology. Don't forget, first, and for some people who are listening to, how many times do you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is look at your phone or go on Facebook? Before you do that, and I tell people, before you do that, you're lying in bed, you wake up, okay? Just stop, okay? Just take a moment, put your hands on your heart, connect to your soul first, connect to your heart. If people are like, well, I don't know how to connect to my soul, then connect to your heart. You close your eyes and just say, hi. Just connect, your body and soul. Because every night when we go to sleep, your spirit self leaves and goes back to the spirit world. And people are like, really? Yes. Your spirit needs to re-energize back home and then come back here also. That's why people need their sleep, okay? More so. not just physically, spiritually. So put your hands on your heart and just say, is there anything I need for the day? Or just hi, spirit, okay? I am a soul. I am a soul. I am a soul. Then start your day. So reach for your inner technology before you reach for your outer technology. Get it? Reach for your inner technology before your outer technology. And then have fun with your psychic ability. I wonder what color my boss is going to wear today. I wonder how many emails am I going to have today? What elevator door is going to open up? If you get a bill in the mail, if you still get bills in the mail, I wonder how much the bill. Ask your intuition. Mm-hmm. The more you use it like the muscle, the more it's going to get stronger. And in my book, Psychic Navigator, I talk about we're all gifted in one way or many ways, Michael. Some people are clairsentient. They feel things. Some people feel they know when they don't like someone. They can't explain it, but they just feel they don't like this person or they do like this person. Someone who's a feeler with the gut, solar plexus. They walk into a room. I don't like the feel of the picture there. I don't like the feel of the desk there. I don't like the feel of the table there. Feeling.
How do we, I'm thinking, I'm spacing the word now that I want to share with you. It's a healing process I've been using with Jessica, where I have to muscle test to determine, ask questions, muscle test, and let's see, it's by Brad Nelson. Oh my God, she's off to the side in the room here holding the book while I'm talking about it.
Of course she is. Yeah.
Of course, that's why it's coming to my mind.
Right.
Called the Emotion Code by Bradley Nelson. It's a brilliant book, and you go through it and you muscle test, and you get an idea of what the emotional blocks are, what the heart walls are that this person needs healing with. And when I do it, I seem to hit the nail on the head, right. And then I get nervous. And I don't want to do it again because is it me? Is it not me? This sounds sort of like what you went through early on.
Sure.
How do we all get over that hump of I don't know if this is real or not, so I don't know what to do with it, and I don't want my head. It's just this weird resistance, but I'm getting it. I'm sure many others are getting it.
Right. Let go of the fear of it. Okay, it's natural. All right. And some people are fearful a little, or because they don't understand it. But if you're getting in something intuitive, Michael, always ask yourself, and for the listening audience here, ask yourself, is this coming to me or from me? Mm-hmm. Is this coming to me or from me? Well, what do I mean? Well, you know if it's intuitive or in what's coming from you, meaning I have a small dog. If I'm thinking of my dog, is it really intuitive or is it just my stuff? It's coming from me. Yeah. It's something to me. And you have to ask too. Intuition, a lot of people say, what's the difference, John, between intuition and imagination? How do I know it's not me? Good one. Put it this way. You get a message in your head, call your sister. Mm-hmm. And you're working the next day, call your sister. You're hearing this in your head. I really should call my sister. I got to call her. Yeah. I'll call her next week.
Just grab the phone.
Grab the phone. Intuition will keep coming back. Imagination will come in once usually and then leave you. Okay? But intuition will keep knocking on that door till it gets louder and louder. Then will come the synchronistic events, and then comes the wake-up calls, hopefully that you don't have to get to do this. So is it coming to me or from me? And imagination will go away. Intuition will keep coming back. If you keep getting an intuitive hit, a thought over and over, it's probably your intuition saying, listen to me, or your soul trying to get your attention. Yep.
You talk about kids really having the sixth sense. We all have the sixth sense, but it hasn't been really, I don't know if muddied wouldn't be your term for it, but it's they're still very connected. How do we cultivate this or grow this rather than kind of snuff that flame?
Well, for yourself, find out if you're clairsentient, clairaudient, or clairvoyant. And some of the indicators are clairsentient. Your feelings are heard easily. Mm-hmm. You're sensitive around other people. Mm-hmm. Watch the words that you use. I don't like the feel of the picture there. I don't like the feel of the couch there. I don't like what I'm feeling about that person. Most likely you're clairsentient. Mm-hmm. Clairvoyance is different. It's with the third eye. I don't like the look of the picture there. I don't like what I'm looking at. I don't like the looks of that. You know what I mean? So there's people who are clairvoyant, they dream well. Mm-hmm. They dream color. A lot of artists are clairvoyant. And it's not just about seeing into the future. A lot of people say, John, I want to see into the astral realm. And I joke with them saying, look around your own world first, because too many of us, we're on our phones. We never look around at the beauty that's around us, Michael, the trees, the sky, the ocean. We're so focused on the phone and looking down. Am I right? Most people don't even look at each other anymore. We can't touch anybody anymore because it's against the law to hug somebody, for Christ's sake. In another way too, clairaudient, to hear. Have you ever heard your name being called when nobody is there? Now, I know some of the audience are like, oh my God. It happens to husband and wives all the time.
Yeah.
Jessica could be in the other room. You're gonna yell at Jessica. Excuse me. You're gonna yell at Jessica and say, what do you want? And she's gonna say, I'm not calling you. But she might have been thinking about you, because clairaudience travels on telepathy. And with clairaudience, it's the hardest to develop. Just go outside, listen. When you're out near the ocean, listen to the ocean. Listen to the traffic in the distance. Listen to kids playing. So clairaudience is it's a rare one to develop, but I have that.
Can you develop it? And this might be
Yes.
outside of the scope of here. Can you develop it so that a couple can literally start to learn to walkie-talkie? Well, there's old school, but walkie-talkie with each other?
Sure. I mean, will it be like walkie-talkie? I mean, it's the wife have to be clairaudient, and the husband would have to be clairaudient. It's in the throat center. And if anyone studies the energy centers, solar plexus is clairsentience. Clairvoyance is the third eye, and clairaudience, to hear, is the throat center. So I always tell people, no matter where I was, every teacher I studied, every book, if I could turn the camera and show you all the books, this is just I got a stack here. I got tons and tons. I read them all. It all came down to this: meditation, breath, chakra, okay, and using the aura. You study those 4 things, you can't help but to be intuitive. Meditation, chakra, aura, breath. It's amazing. So the energy centers, you can do this, but have fun with it. Know that you are psychic. And you know what gets me, Michael? It's free. It's free. It's there for you. You don't need to be a transcendent master to tap in. And it's not all about just looking into the future. Wouldn't you like to know help at work? Wouldn't you like to know what's going to happen in a meeting? Wouldn't you like to use your ability to in your artwork and studying the energy centers? It's only going to help you physically at the same time too. So spiritually and physically. But don't take the subject way too far. Don't go out there with it. Stay grounded with this, because you're a physical being and a spiritual being. You have to honor both sides of you.
Then how do we cultivate it in our children?
Listen to your kids. And I wrote that in Spirit Whisperer, which is part 2 to Born Knowing. I couldn't come up with Spirit Whisperer because there's some things that I witnessed in England that I wasn't just want to throw that at the audience. Get to know me first, then I did it.
Makes sense.
There's a whole section in there for kids. I mean, for parents and teachers to help intuitive kids now, because many kids, they're seeing things, they know things. I think kids are being born more and more aware. Do you understand? I really think this. And so when a kid's saying, Mom, there's somebody in my room, and don't say to the kid, yeah, right, it's your imagination. Ask the kid, is it a man or a woman? What do they look like? What are they saying? Ask the kid questions, because you know how kids can talk. Like they're 2, 3 years old. They'll tell you it's an old woman in a green dress. Oh my God, that could be that could be somebody's grandmother. It could be the parent's grandmother, and it could be now it's the great grandmother to the kid. So get out a picture book. And don't point to, just let the kid go do the book, and you'd be surprised. The kid might say, oh my God, that's the lady. The best thing to do for you is to listen to your children and let them know that it's normal. Just like art, just like music, that they just have an ability. But I don't want someone to become a stage mother and say, go ahead, do it, when somebody comes over for a cup of coffee. So just listen to your kids. But there's a whole chapter in the Spirit Whisperer to help parents and teachers to help these kids. And kids, they're being born more and more sensitive, so you might as well be able to know what's going on. Best thing also, educate yourself, parents, okay? And the teachers who are listening to me right now, okay? Educate yourself on the subject of psychic ability, energy centers, meditation, so you're educated to teach your child.
That makes sense. That makes sense. We've got just a couple wrap-up questions, and then we'll do a meditation at the end. Before that, are there certain types of meditation that are more important than others for this?
I think it's all good. I mean, for mediumship, you have to clear your mind, but nobody ever really clears their mind, Michael. It's impossible. But any meditation, a lot of people think meditation is sitting in a cave with an incense, chanting, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om. No. Anytime you meditate, it's doing something in repetition. So if you're antsy and you can't sit, then do a labyrinth. A meditation in motion. Walk the beach to the count of 10, count over. Look at a mandala on the wall and stare at it, and that can take you into a meditation. Look at a candle flame. That can take you into meditation, because you could be on an elliptical. Speaking about going to the gym, you can be on an elliptical machine. People zone out. Why? because they're doing the same thing over and over. Anything that you repeat, because you have to clear your mind for intuitive thoughts. You have to clear your mind for the spirit people can impress you with their thoughts. And if you get a thought, let it go, bring it back to the breath. You have another thought, how many emails I have. Life will try to stop you, by the way. Life will try to stop you. How many emails do I have? You're meditating. I wonder what the dog's doing. I wonder what the kids are doing. God, why am I doing this? God, am I uncomfortable? It gets easier. Okay, you don't have to do 1 hour. Start off with 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. But you know what happens, Michael? A lot of people say to me, I don't have 5 minutes. Well, that's sad. If you can't take 5 minutes twice a day out of you, then make the time, guys, because your spirit is worth it. So when it comes to kids, listen to your kids. In meditation, whatever works for you, whether it's a walking meditation, a mandala, a yantra, repeating the word, looking at a candle flame, find out what works for you. They're all good. And it'll also help you physically, your blood pressure, your health, your energy. So it works both ways.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. So
You're welcome.
a couple wrap-up questions, then we'll just jump into that meditation. First off, question we like to ask all of our guests is what personally brings you the greatest happiness, or what I call the woohoo factor?
There's two things, okay? I have to say what brings me happiness is my dog.
What kind of dog?
He's a West Highland Terrier. Everybody knows this dog changed my life. I got him because of him. He teaches me patience, unconditional love, to be grounded. You can't be airy when you're walking your dog, you got to keep an eye on him. But he brings me the best joy. I don't have kids. He is like my kid. And because of that little white dog, who's only 18 and a half pounds, I work with the SPCA in New Hampshire. So because of him, got me into animals, into dogs. And I just did an event called with the CODA Fund. It helps animals have life-saving operations that are brought into the SPCA. So to date, over the last 3 or 4 years, he and I, and the many people that help donate, $70,000. $70,000. If it wasn't for me meeting that dog, and the ripple effect, I always say at the end of my show on Hay House Radio, guys, do something nice this week for someone out of the blue, because it can cause a ripple effect that reaches farther than you ever can imagine. So who's to say someone, because their dog was saved or their animal because of the CODA Fund, that animal comes into the house, teaches this kid, the kid becomes a better child, and he spreads it. Who knows? We may never know the ripple effect, but everybody does matter. So that brings me inspiration and joy. And tomorrow I have an event. When I see a message come through that's very evidential from them, I always give the spirit people the credit. I just relay it like we're doing now. That brings me joy, especially with people that have lost a child. That's got to be one of the hardest passings. If I see a parent smile or laugh for the first time in months, or they email me and say, John, it's the first time I slept in months. If I'm bringing, I don't know if you can ever get closure from a passing, but if I can bring just a little healing to somebody or a parent or someone that lost someone, then I feel I've done my job. So those two things, my work and my dog.
Beautiful. Do you know the link for the CODA Fund?
Yes. If people go to nhspca.com, NancyHSPCA.com. Under donations, you'll see a whole page that says the CODA Fund.
Perfect. And we'll put that link on our website as well, so we can get people over there. And that's a perfect segue. Where can people go to find out more, to find your cards, workshops, the works?
JohnHolland.com. I mean, I've been doing this work for 20 years. So JohnHolland.com, there's a lot of information. I'm all over the United States. I work with Hay House, Mishka Productions. I'm in New England. I'm everywhere. So JohnHolland.com. But what's good about the site too is you get to choose a card on there also. You don't even have to have the deck. You can go to the website and look at the frequently asked questions too, Michael. I tell the people, because there might be a question you're like, oh, if I could only ask them that. Maybe I already answered it for you under my frequently asked questions, but the newsletter helps too. A lot of people say, well, how come I didn't know about this? Get on the newsletter, all right? My radio show, hayhouseradio.com. I'm on live every Monday for the past 11 years. I can't believe it. I know you love doing this, and I love the radio show because it's from people around the world. So anyone wants to know anything, johnholland.com, because I'll be in Mexico. I'm going to be in Arizona, New Jersey. Just check it out, guys.
Beautiful. Excellent. And we'll put a few of those links to upcoming things on our site as well. Help them get over your way.
Great.
If you're driving down the road, inspirenationshow.com will get you over there. So before we dive into the meditation, any last words of wisdom you want to share with people?
Always remember, like I said earlier, you're a spiritual being and a physical being. Remember this. You are a soul that comes with a body, not a body that comes with a soul. You're a soul first. You're a soul long before you incarnate in this body, and you're going to be a soul long after that. So honor your soul. Listen to your soul. It's trying to work in partnership with you. I am a soul. I am a soul. Don't forget it.
Woohoo!
Okay, there you go.
All right. Any meditation you'd be called to share with us?
We'll do a short one. In the back of Psychic Navigator, this is a little longer on it. It's with music. I call it Raising the Power. Raising the Power. So all people need to do is just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. And it's a way to open up. It's a way to open up. Just close your eyes. There you go. And I'll do it with you. Just close your eyes and you imagine, now this is the brief version of it. Just close your eyes. Imagine that there's a sparkling lake below you. A sparkling lake. See the sparkles, the diamonds. There you go. And if you can't see it, just imagine it there. And what I suggest is try to visualize this. Imagine that there's a white ball of light coming up from that ocean of white light, and it joins the base of your spine. And the color of the base of the spine, the energy center, is red. It is red. There you go. That's the physical chakra. Anything in your physical life, finances, family, anything physical, your job. And then go back to that sea of light. Up comes another ball of white light. And it joins the base chakra to the solar plexus. Its color is orange below the navel. Creativity, inspiration. Back to the sea of light. Up comes another white ball of light. At the base chakra, up the sacral, and up to the solar plexus, yellow, intuition, clairsentience, opening up. That beautiful sun, that intuition, right there at the solar plexus. Its color is yellow. Back to the sea of light, almost there, halfway there. Up comes another ball, the base chakra, red, up to the orange, up to the yellow, and up to the heart center, green, right here, green. Love, compassion, joy. A lot of people cry when you go to the center because every joy, every pain, every sorrow is etched upon the heart. Opening up that heart center. I am love. I deserve love. I'm worthy of love. Back to the sea of light. Once again, another ball comes up, joining the base chakra, the orange, and up in the power, solar plexus, and up to the heart center, and up to the throat center. Its color is sky blue. Clairaudience, speaking your truth. Communication, right here. Like a giant sky opening. Its color is sky blue. Like a turquoise. Back to the sea of light. Up comes another ball of shiny, diamond-like light up the base chakra. Up to the sacral. Solar plexus. Heart. Nice easy breath, everyone. Up to the throat center and up to the third eye. Clairvoyance. Its color is indigo, like a purple and blue mix. See it like a giant flower opening. Beautiful. Seeing what's really in front of you. Clairvoyance. One last one. One last time. Go down to the sea of light below you. Up comes another shiny ball of white light. Up to the base center. Sacral. Solar plexus. Heart center. Up. Nice and easy. Up to the third eye. And up to the top of your head. Like a giant funnel. Violet. The crown chakra. Where you're connected to God. The universe. Inspiration. Like a giant funnel. And as you do that, imagine there's a white cloud of light above you. And that light comes pouring in, merging with the light from that pond or that lake below you. Energy running up and down your spine. Up and down, clearing you, cleansing you, healing, spinning your energy centers the proper way. Beautiful. You're open. Just enjoy that. This will open you psychically, feeling that peace. It expands your aura. And when it's time to close down, which you should do, so you're not so sensitive out there, because you don't always want to be a walking psychic antenna. You close. Yeah, I'll keep the crown center open so you can have wisdom and inspiration. Then you close the third eye, like a flower closing at the third eye, down to the throat center. That sky blue, just see the color getting dimmer. Going down to the heart center, color green, like a flower closing. Now you're dropping in the power. Solar plexus. Closing off so you're not so sensitive. Sacral, below the navel, just closing that center. And we're going to keep the base chakra open so you can get continued energy throughout the day and vitality. And that's it, really. Just enjoy that. Raising the power. And then you want to close down, because some people get the price of sensitivity is sensitivity. So you can open up anytime you wish and close down. Now that was a very brief version of it. It's much longer in Psychic Navigator, or take it to play with music yourself, Michael. And thank you, because I do this for all my students, and this is what I take them through when they're developing psychically or mediumistically.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for sharing. This is fantastic. And now
You're welcome.
You've got the sunlight on you. You are truly glowing.
There you go.
Bright.
There you go. Right.
So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun, check out Psychic Tarot and flex those psychic muscles and shine bright.
Thanks, Michael.
Woohoo! Wow, wow, wow. What another amazing, sacred, special interview. On that note, if you want to dive into something that's sacred and special, then you want to dive into the automatic writing experience. It's a process where you learn how to channel, to go quiet, put pen to paper, and literally get answers from the other side of the veil. Now you can get our video-based program where you can begin learning automatic writing today, along with live classes at automaticwriting.com. On that note, if you're loving the show, then that means you are a mystic. So join Michael's School of Mystics. We meet 4 Wednesdays a month. Simply go to inspirenationuniversity.com and you can find Michael's School of Mystics. On that note, come join us every Monday night. We have YouTube live events. And if you want even more than that, click the join link. Come join the inner circle with me. You get an uplifting dose of goodness in the inner circle with all of the behind the scenes footage and videos that I make specifically for you. We're a podcast too. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, every single place you can get a podcast. You can find the Inspire Nation Show. Click the subscribe button and the bell icon, which will notify you with upcoming shows, YouTube live premieres, and here's the link to the next amazing video. Love you guys so much. Big thumbs up. Leave your comments if you like this. Shine bright. Woohoo! Love you guys.